Answer the following questions to gather information for your summary paragraph. Who was Jose Escandon? We want to pay attention and look out for that guy in the story. When did Jose Escandon first travel to Texas? When they talk about him going to Texas, we want to see if they tell us what time. Maybe like a year or a month or something like that. Why did Jose Escandon first travel to Texas? So even though these two questions look almost the same, they're very different. This one is asking about a time. This is asking for a reason. What was his reason for wanting to go to Texas? Why did he want to be there? How did Jose Escandon use the information he learned? Okay, so he's going to learn something. We don't know about what yet, but he's going to learn something, and then we have to pay attention with what does he do next? After he learns something, what does he do? What did Jose Escandon accomplish? So what did he end up doing? Did he make something? Did he create something? Invent something? What? And how did Jose Escandon's accomplishments benefit Texas? So benefit means help. How did what he did help out Texas? What did he do that was good for Texas? The next slide says use the information above to write a short summary paragraph about Jose Escandon. So the good thing about slide 6 is really if we take our answers, we can kind of just put them one after another in sentences, and we should end up with a pretty good summary about this guy. So if we can answer this page will be really simple. It'll just be the same answers, just written in one paragraph instead of a couple of different sentences. Let's read about this and see if we can figure out more about Jose Escandon. Spanish missions in Texas. Between the late 1600s and the early 1800s, Spain and Spanish colonists in Mexico hoped to expand their presence in North America. Not only did they want to safeguard their stronghold in Mexico, but they wanted to expand their territories northward into what is present-day Texas. They used a couple of different tactics for doing so. One was by establishing missions, and the other was by enlisting explorers. One way in which they worked to accomplish this goal was by establishing missions or religious settlements. The Spanish believed by establishing churches and sharing their Christian faith and Hispanic customs, their claim to these new lands would be stronger and more tenable if challenged. So they thought that putting up churches and making missions would make it so that people would have a harder time taking the land away from them. Here we go. Corpus Christi de la Isleta near El Paso was the first Spanish mission in Texas. This mission, which was established in 1682, still stands today. Several other missions still stand in Texas today as well. The town of Nacogdoches in East Texas began when a group of settlers moved to the area and settled in derelict mission Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe de los Nacogdoches. Mission San Jose y San Miguel de Aguayo in San Antonio also still stands as the largest of the Texas missions. Is often referred to as Queen of the Missions. Probably the most legendary mission in Texas is San Antonio de Valero, but it is better known as the Alamo. Another way in which the Spanish increased its presence in the New World was by recruiting explorers to find and settle new areas. Jose Escandon was one such explorer. His skill in making peaceful contact with Native Americans and expanding Spanish territories has given him the name Father of the Lower Rio Grande Valley. In 1747, Escandon undertook a reconnaissance mission. So that meant he went, I guess the one way to think about it is almost like a spy. Like he went to go see what was going on and get information. That's what reconnaissance means. So he went on a reconnaissance mission to learn about the area he intended to colonize. He organized 7 military convoys to approach the areas of interest at the same time, collect valuable information, and make peaceful contact with Native American groups living there. So after he got the information, he made 7 groups of people and they all went at once. They all went to these places at the same time. Upon his return home, he used the information he gleaned, which means that the information he learned, to create a map of the colonies he wished to settle, as well as a detailed plan for settlement. So when he came back, he thought about everything that had happened and he made a map so people knew where to go. And he even made up a plan with some steps and some instructions on how to do this, how to make a settlement, like a city or a town. He then recruited soldiers, colonists, and missionaries to carry out his plans, and was wildly successful. So after he made his plans, he got together a group of people that would help him to carry out the plan, to make it work, and apparently it worked very well. Over a span of 7 years, 23 new settlements were founded, including a line of towns along the Rio Grande River named Villas del Norte. So it does sound like he did a pretty good job. 23 settlements in 7 years. Several of these settlements were established in what is now Texas. Among them are the cities of Dolores and Laredo. As a result of his accomplishments, Spain fortified its hold on the remote territory that later became Texas. Some would argue that José Escandón was a pioneer that paved the way for the empresario era. So because of what he did, Spain was able to keep hold of Texas, and people weren't able to take it away from them, because he had created or built so many cities there in Texas.